Yeah, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was straight in. You were chucked into that deep end without armbands. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is another Q&A, but this time it is all about starting university and hopefully it can answer all of your questions. As usual, we have another video and another storm. It is Storm Jorge this week, and to be honest, at the moment it looks more like Jorge has just bought Spain as opposed to rain. However, there are some black clouds outside my window and the wind is picking up, so if it does start to go a bit wild in the background, that is why. I hope you can still hear me. Sorry. I am splitting this video into 3 sections. The first one being before you get to university, what you can do kind of now and over the summer. The second section being once you get there, when you've started. And the third one is going to be the few Oxford specific questions that I've been asked, because I don't want this video to be Oxford specific at all, just university. But I still got a few questions, so I'm going to answer them just at the end. Question number 1, what accommodation are you choosing for your masters and what did you choose for your undergrad? Is it worth having an ensuite and spending a little extra money? So I'm going back to university in September. Yeah, I'm also choosing accommodation at the moment. I'm going to do a whole video on how I've done this. To answer the ensuite bit, I'm not getting an ensuite. I had one in my 3rd year, but I don't know, I felt like 3rd year needed that. There wasn't much other choice. All of the rooms pretty much had ensuites anyway. In 1st year, I didn't have an ensuite. Not that I had a choice, but I wouldn't have chosen one anyway because I wanted something cheaper. Having a bathroom that was shared was not an issue in any way, shape or form. But basically, no, having an ensuite is, I mean, it's comfortable, but it's not. You don't need one. You really don't need one. The second question is, do you have any advice on selecting insurance, because I have no idea what to do? I had absolutely no idea what to do either before starting uni, and my mum was super helpful. She does lots of things on Martin Lewis and Which, and had compared the best ones for me, and it was Ensley. The Ensley insurance that I got was gadget insurance, because your university should insure your room anyway, so if anything happens to anything in your room and it was locked, that is the key part. I know at Oxford everything had to be locked, and the same for my brother's room at Sheffield's Hallam. It just has to be locked, and if it is locked then the university insurance covers it if someone's like climbed in the window or whatever. Then it should be insured. But I had Ensley gadget cover, which covered my phone and my laptop if I was out and about, and basically it's really easy. You just go on the website, you get gadget cover, and then you select what it is you've got, like what model they are, how old they are, what it costs you, and whether you're living in halls or private accommodation, and that was it for a year. Before going, did you do work over the summer to earn some money? Yes I did. I babysat, I tutored a total of 4 children. I also was a gymnastics coach, and I had a paper round, and also do you know like midday assistants at school, but in the morning, like in the canteen before school starts? I did that. So I had built up a fair bit of money that I could spend, and then over summer I did a lot of gymnastics summer school, but I also had a nice chilled out summer as well and just relaxed. But yeah, I did work, and it did help me feel better when I arrived, especially for Freshers Week, because everyone says, oh, you can spend so much money. I didn't, because I didn't really drink on Freshers Week, especially not to the same level as a lot of other people, and that meant that I really didn't spend a lot. And I would also recommend, you know, to save money in the first few weeks, taking as much dried food and like doing a shop beforehand as you possibly can, so like beans and literally anything you can fit in the freezer. Did you know anyone before starting your course, and if so, how did you meet them, and did it help you once you got there? No, I knew not a single person, nobody, because I applied to Hertford. I had friends that I met at interview, like 4 or 5 people that were doing my course at various colleges, but because I got moved to Peters, I had absolutely no one that I could talk to before I got there. I didn't know a single person, and that was daunting. I didn't expect any different, because having applied to Oxford I didn't expect to know a single person anyway, so it wasn't a shock. Like, I knew it was something I was going to have to deal with, and you just kind of have to get on with it, don't you? Yeah. How much work did you do over summer? I assume this means academic work, so that's what I'm going to answer. And they also ask, was it a priority or not so much? The answer is a big fat no.
Ooh, you're hard.
It was not a priority. It probably should have been. I think a lot of people did a lot of pre-reading and it showed, and I didn't. We did get sent a list of things we were meant to read. You know, if you don't have a library near you that has academic books or any access to the online sources, how are you supposed to read things that are academic books? I didn't want to buy a load. I couldn't afford to go out and buy all of these archaeology tech. There were so many, and I'm genuinely unsure if I read a single thing on that list. I think my preparation was watching a lot of documentaries, and I guess that is work, isn't it? Like, it's archaeology documentaries, it makes sense, but in terms of actually doing like academic work and practicing writing and stuff, no, I didn't. I relaxed and earned money. I didn't do any academic work because I thought the minute I get there I'm going to be doing loads, so I didn't prioritise it at all. Now we're going to talk about things, you know, like once you started and when you're moving in, so yes. We're on part 2 of the video. Do you think people who took a gap year found it harder to fit in and make friends? No, I really didn't think so, and genuinely, like, I didn't take a gap year, but I did not feel like the people who took a gap year were older. I forget that one of my best friends is pretty much 2 years older than me. Like, I'm August 98, she's October 96, and you just don't feel the age gap. Because age is so constructed on school years that once you get to uni, if they're in your year, then they're in your year. You don't see them as being a different age. So how much free time will I have? Honestly, that depends on the university you're at. From my experience, not a lot. It's very different styles of work. Like Oxford is like essay, and then other people might have assignments which take ages because they've got group projects and they're almost like mini dissertations every time. So it's all about how you balance it and where you go and what subjects you take. I did have free time once I'd kind of learnt how to deal with the work, which took a while. I also am a master procrastinator, and half of not having free time is completely my own fault. Are there any online resources? I wasn't sure if this was once you get there or like online resources for before you get there, so I've done it as when you've arrived, like are the lectures online and stuff, and yes, mostly they are. I know friends at 2 different unis have recorded lectures online. I didn't have that, but we at least had the PowerPoint. So I think most universities do put things online now because it's not always your fault to miss a lecture. Clearly this was filmed before Corona was a big thing in the UK, and I'm hoping now that there will be a lot more resources online because the universities have had to do it. Do you have any contact hours on the weekend, or is it just like school? From my experience, it is like school in that your actual contact hours are all on weekdays, but I have heard that at Cambridge you have contact hours on a Saturday, which is horrific. I think medics sometimes also have contact hours on a weekend because of the nature of their degree. Their tutors might be, you know, like in surgery on one day a week, and therefore they have to make it up by putting things on a weekend. You don't really get a weekend. It's not like you have set hours and then you get a whole weekend for free to do other things. You will be still doing academic work and go to the library. What was your move-in day like? I had so much stuff. They had to use a trolley to take it from my van. We brought the trolley to the door. There's no lifts, which is terrible. Thankfully, in my first year, I was only on the first floor, so it was just 1 flight of stairs. I moved in. I remember loving my room immediately. I remember panicking because I didn't think I had a sink, but then it was in my wardrobe. I have a vivid memory of my next door neighbour Hamish coming back from Sainsbury's or Tesco, and he put his bag down on the floor to unlock his door as my dad was coming in bringing my stuff, and a bottle of vodka just rolls out into the corridor. He was mortified, but it was so funny. So I think my move-in day was it was really nice. I got good vibes. The next question is, on move-in day, is it a good idea to go say hi to people? Yes, definitely. In my experience, that interaction with Hamish almost broke the ice immediately, so then I could go into his room once my parents had gone and talk to him, and we'd sort of already been introduced. But what Hamish did really well is he left his door open, I think all the freshers week, and it just meant that his room ended up being this hub where like the whole floor would come and just sit in a circle and we just chat, and it was really, really nice because it just made it so social, and even people who weren't like really extroverted could just sit in the circle and take it in. The last question on this section is, how do you find your people? And also, did you find your people, and are you still best friends with the people on Freshers Week? Which is about 3 different questions, but essentially find your people just by doing what you like to do. Because if you start doing things that aren't really you just to try and make friends, then you're going to be miserable because you're not doing the things you like, you're just trying to fit in with them. It might take a while to make friends, but if you've done it, you know, in a sense that these people have shared interests, like maybe you want to start doing football and it takes you a month of football, but actually these people are now your best friends, and because you do the same thing you're going to be friends for much longer, and it's a consistent thing, instead of just jumping on like 5 people who are like quite loud or think are like you on Freshers Week. It's better to wait it out and just give little bits of yourself.
I think what I'm trying to say here is, if they're not making you happy, ditch them. Ditch them now, because toxic friendships are not worth it.
To answer the are you still friends thing, yes, actually, I am still pretty much best friends with everyone that I was on Freshers Week, which I think is quite rare actually. The last few questions are all about Oxford, so if this is nothing to do with you, then thank you for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if it answered your question, if it helped, and I will see you in my next video. If you are heading to Oxford or just interested, then yeah, keep watching and hopefully these ones will answer some questions you have. Providing I get the grades, I'll be starting at Oxford in October. I'm a little worried. Do they just throw you in at the deep end? Yeah, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was straight in. You were chucked into that deep end without armbands. Basically, they give you a load of work immediately, and it's horrible and it's hard to balance, and you think, oh my god, what have I let myself in for? But then when you have the tutorial with them, they're actually quite nice from my experience. It's more like, okay, so we gave you this just to see how you'd cope off the foot, and almost like a baseline test that you do in like year 7 and 8. It's just to see how you cope immediately, and they're not expecting big things. Let me tell you, they really are not expecting big things at all, because it's your first essay. You've got 3 years to like get to the level of an Oxford student. I'm afraid of not fitting in because I'm not posh enough. Neither am I. And yeah, there are a lot of people who are posh at Oxford, and a lot of people have very different perceptions of what the word posh means. And I think once you get to Oxford, you realise that there's posh that you might have described the person with a slightly bigger house than you at school as, and then there's, with a capital P, like Oxford posh. They're not bad people, you know, you find who you want to fit in with and you fit in with them. You don't have to like fit in with an Oxford stereotype, because a lot of people, in fact most people, don't like that stereotype and don't want to fit in with it. The last question is, are Oxford balls really expensive and worth it? They are expensive, see? But I do think they're worth it. It depends actually which ones. I've never paid more than 100 for a ball. I wouldn't. I've considered it, but then thought, you know what, I could have a whole holiday for this. But the reason they're so expensive is because they have a lot of gimmicks. So they have like Ferris wheels and dodgems and a photo, and you get breakfast, there's unlimited food all night, and sometimes a formal dinner as well. There might be like dance classes, shows, really big acts like Sigma, limited drinks all night and unlimited food. We had pizza, ice cream, chips, paella. I ate a lot. That was worth it. I think the St Peter's balls are worth it. And Regent's Park is a really good ball as well. That one is £50 non-dining, but you still get food all night, like hot dogs and candy floss and popcorn and things. Or £70 for a 3-course meal on top of your unlimited everything else. So yeah, that one was really worth it. Would recommend that one. So you don't have to go to your own college's balls, just to clarify that. If I was at like Christchurch and they wanted to charge me £250 for a ball, I'd have been like, see you later. But actually, I think they do have access tickets now at some colleges, where if you're on the bursary or something like that, you get a cheap ball ticket. So thank you for watching this video, and again, give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed and a sub if you enjoyed. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!